That was fun, man.
Wrecking my car. That was fun.
Yeah, but didn't we do that in a mini?
We did it in a mini, and David kept bailing.
Right.
So we had to do it so basically you and I drove through. I mean, it was kind of your stunt.
It was totally my stunt, and I had reached out to you. This was where I jumped off a porta potty, and you were there, and I shattered my ankle. I mean, I had 11 screws in my ankle. It was, as far as like surgery and screws, it was the worst injury I've ever had, which is fitting because I was there for your worst injury you ever had.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Wow. I did the loop for Wild Boys and came crashing down and broke my pelvis, my thumb, cracked my skull.
That was like a heavy concussion, huh?
Yeah, that one was pretty heavy. I woke up. I mean, when you get concussed, there's a moment when you remember coming to truly, even though you're talking and whatever. But
right.
There's a moment where your
oh
brain
God, it was so upsetting.
In.
I remember you. They were loading you onto a stretcher, and you were saying like, "Don't let my kids see this," something like that. It was really.
Do you remember saying that?
I think that's around the time I started coming to. Yeah, because I remembered the stretcher. I think that what woke me up was the pain of getting on the stretcher, and I was like, something's wrong with my hip. That was the first thing I said, and I remember the guy looked at me and he said, "We'll X-ray it." Like, it's okay, you're fine.
Did they show that on Wild Boys, the crash?
So they saved all the footage, and then later on, MTV had their show about injuries, scarring.
Yeah, right.
And then they reached out to Tremaine and said, "Hey, can we get this footage?" And Tremaine reached out to me and he said, "I just want to make sure you're cool with this because they're asking me," and that's where it was.
I mean, this was like a really sensitive and heavy thing because Tony Hawk like has always been the ambassador of skateboarding and really representing like safety. Like I don't want to say, but for you to be not wearing a helmet was a big deal. And the whole idea with the Wild Boys doing the loop was, oh, well, we got to have you in this chimpanzee suit, Tony. You got to be wearing a chimpanzee suit. You can't really fit a helmet into the...
Yeah, but that was... So, there's a few things with that. I mean, if you want to get into the weeds on it. Bob and I were doing this doubles routine.
Bob Burnquist. And that was on the Boom Boom Hug Jam tour.
So, you were shooting... literally 3 days after we ended about a 6-week run of tours.
Right.
We had just flown home from Florida.
Right.
The tour was over. We had been doing my loop every night on the tour. So for 30 shows doing
right.
loop, right?
But now we're at Bob Burnquist's house, and this is a loop that was made out of wood, not
but
plexiglass.
Here's the thing. Bob and I didn't intend to do that. We just did our doubles routine.
Right.
And that we knew from Huck Jam, and that was cool.
And then Tremaine looked over and saw the loop.
I said I was like, "Hey, monkey loop," and Bob's like, "Yeah." And I remember thinking, like, maybe I don't know if that's a good idea, but we were so I was so cocky about the loop that we had been doing that I was like, "We got this." And then I remember Bob went down first and he bailed, and I really should have saw that as a warning sign because Bob on his own loop.
Right. And it was like waterlogged, made out of wood. Like you guys.
No, it was trash. That was the problem. The problem was we couldn't get the right amount of speed. And then when on my second attempt, I did mistake number 1, which is pump through the transition, because I was trying to compensate for lack of speed. And that's like the first thing you tell anyone who's going to do a loop: do not pump through the transition. And here I am, like. Then I just did it, and I remember like, oh, whoops.
Yeah.
And then you don't remember anything else until you came to?
Yeah, until they were loading me in the ambulance. Yeah.
I mean, like, Tony came out of the loop at midnight, like on like a sideways corkscrew kind of a thing, and like I remember it like midnight to like 6, like just vertical drop down and like landed on the flat there, and I remember it looking more like you hit your head on the flat than your hip, but
I think it was all at once.
Yeah. It was the most brutal.
And you were there?
I was there. Yeah. Fuck. I was in a
I remember when I finally saw the footage, and I remember thinking like they had 2 girls in bikinis standing right there. Like I landed right in front of them. And then him and Pontius, and all you hear is Tremaine going, "Medic!"
Jesus.